All right. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year. Happy January. Happy all the things. Welcome to the Kansas City user group. Whether you're here in KC or you're regional or you're around the country, or I wouldn't be surprised if we have any international guests. Welcome. It's our first meeting of the year. We are happy to have you here. You are always welcome. My name is Dale Ziegler. I am a senior business analyst with Seven Summits, and I guess I now need to officially update this to Seven Summits, an IBM company, based on yesterday's news. My co-host, my co-leader is Jeff Berger, who is the admin with Academy Bank. With all of the stuff that's going on with the stimulus programs and everything in this COVID age, he texted me last night that Academy has to implement a huge PPP enhancement, which go back through the admin podcast files and you'll hear him talk about it from last year. I think it was last May. He may not be able to join us. He's working on that big push for tomorrow and then later this week. But Jeff is my fearless co-leader. He is the young brains behind a lot of this operation. You can reach us at that email address down there. It points towards both of us. If you have any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, Dale, shut up and do this instead of what you're doing, whatever. It's all good. Send it there and we will both get it. And we're both good about trying to respond within 24 to 48 hours. We are recording this meeting, so that means if you can't be recorded, if you're not comfortable being recorded, whatever, we're going to need you to drop. But we should have this posted to our YouTube channel later this afternoon, this evening, so you can still catch Eric's presentation, the open conversation afterwards, and we'll also be sharing the deck, which has a ton of links in it. If you've been to one of our meetings before, you know I get very link happy in here, but it's all to try and give good resources for webinars and certification stuff and job postings and everything. So again, if you can't stay with us, drop, but we will have the recording posted later. And of course, please mute yourself. If you're not talking, there's no need to be unmuted. I don't have anything that locks you into mute. So if you want to speak up, absolutely unmute, but just stay muted until then. And then also, if you can please update your participant name to be your real name. I have 3 kids. I have a 14, a 7, and a 5. They all have their own call names, not necessarily on Zoom, but it's been fun the last few meetings to see some of you grown-ups log in and you're the ultimate gamer or some acronym that because of my gray hair, don't understand what it means, whatever. No worries. We've all seen it. I just ask that you please put in your real name so that I actually know who you are. Please, 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 please. So we have a sponsor for this meeting, ActiveCampaign. Mr. Eric Dreshfield is back after his November user group appearance, and his company, I believe, will be doing a raffle. I think we captured email addresses for people who wanted to enter, and we'll do that drawing offline. But they have been kind enough to sponsor this meeting and to give us a demo and solve some customer problems. We do have a Slack channel. If you're not already part of it, we are trying to grow some traffic on it and post some good stuff and good conversations, good office hours type conversations that have been in there. But if you're not part of it and you want to join, ping us at that Kansas City email and we will get you added as soon as possible. So for those who are new to the Salesforce community or the Kansas City Salesforce community, either way, we are a collection of groups. You have joined the general user group, which means we have admins, developers, marketers, the WIT group, nonprofit. There are the individual groups for those more niche skill sets, but we are the general collective of the group, again, where everyone is welcome. This is a safe place no matter what your experience is, your background, where you are, where you've been, what you're looking for. You can go to that bit.ly to get more information about any of the groups. And it's been a few months, but if anybody from the nonprofit group has an update for me, the nonprofit group did get suspended sometime in the 4th quarter last year because the leader had stepped down and no one was able to take over that leadership. Has anybody stepped in and resurrected that group? Do we know? guessing based on silence, that's a no, and that's okay. That's not a call out or anything like that. If you're in the nonprofit space and you are interested in being a user group leader and want to get the nonprofits back up and running again, you can reach out to me or the Trailblazer community directly to get that going again. I'm happy to facilitate getting you in there as well. But if you're interested and want to reactivate that group, it would be a great opportunity and a great group of people that you could get going again. For this Kansas City group in general, new format in 2021 until I did research and realized my Zoom account doesn't have breakout rooms. So we're just going to have a big open conversation when this is done. At least it'll be open and collaborative and networking and all of that. But that was a bad on me. Made that bad assumption yesterday when I went in to check. Our next meeting will be February 11th, featuring Corinne Walker. My plan is to get the registration site up and running this afternoon or tomorrow. Corinne, if you are able to unmute, I see you on here. Do you want to give just a quick teaser of what it is that you plan to present?
Hello.
Hey, Corinne.
Hey, I wasn't prepared for this, but it's fine. Yeah, so just a quick introduction. My name is Corinne Walker. I'm an engineering lead within the Salesforce department here at C2FO. And I'm just passionate about Salesforce. I've been an administrator for over 3 years, and I just want to kind of share a little bit about my knowledge on basically how to create formula field checkboxes so that you can optimize your Salesforce either in your Apex code or your process builders or your flows, so that it's especially if you are a sole administrator, it's going to make your job a lot easier and a lot more flexible. So that's what I'll be presenting on.
Awesome. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but I'm really geeking out over what it is that you're going to present. I was really excited, and I wanted to build that momentum. So thank you. I mean, it is it's a simple tool that comes with a ton of power behind it. So it's going to be awesome, and we are really excited for a month from yesterday. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, we'll have that registration site out here in the next day or two. March, Jeff and I both, I think, have a couple of ideas of what we may want to throw out there. It'll be a coin flip. We'll just see where we are. If you have any ideas or anything that you want to present, Corinne has submitted to it. Eric has submitted to it. Daniel Malone submitted to it. The speaker interest form, that's just a Google form that, hey, I want to present on how my company is using Salesforce. Or I took a dev org and started tracking, I don't know if you're a runner, I started tracking my miles with it. And then here's some of my reporting and automation or whatever. If you're passionate about how you're living in the Salesforce ecosystem, if you want to pay it forward with mentoring, whatever, please fill out that speaker interest form. We would love to have you present and share your knowledge, share your expertise, share your brain. The company use cases are great as well because there's so many industries around the world, so many companies around Kansas City and in the Midwest region that are using Salesforce that it's great for others to see how it's being used. I see Brian. I don't know if we have any other user group leaders, but any updates from the dev group or any other groups of things that might be coming up?
Dale, we were looking at potentially doing a demo on some LWC stuff, just because we've been doing a ton of work in that space, and it's a fairly immature area, and there's a lot of stuff that you have to know, kind of a little inside poker on a lot of the stuff there. So we were looking at putting together something like that. So if there's a spot in any upcoming meetings, we'd be happy to put that one in or put it in. It's a techie topic, so it's not something that would probably be general use.
It's a techie topic, but I think it's something for admins to be aware of, at least, because it all coexists on the same platform that multiple personas are going to have to touch, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see if I could put something together that's more of an admin thing. I was actually going to do something where we're actually throwing code, but that's.
Well, I think you do the code too, but you speak to hey, admins, this is what these things are, but still keep it techie. I think that'd be great because, you know, we have a very all-inclusive group here that we all we're all very interested in what the other sides are doing. I'd say keep it techie.
You calling us the other side here now? What's going on?
No, I'm calling us the other side and you're the side. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Yes, we would love to have you do that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, that'd be great, and happy to put that together.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. I'll ping you offline. Anybody from the WIT or marketing groups? I don't see anybody raising their hand in chat. That's okay. Do we have any user group leaders from outside of Kansas City? Or anyone from outside of Kansas City in general?
So I'm not. So I co-hosted my first meeting for. I'm not officially a co-lead yet. It's still, the application's still in process, but I co-hosted it, and I guess possibly co-lead. So also, this is for the Phoenix admin group meeting. So anyone interested in presenting there, you know, connect with me. And so that meeting was great. We had, for January, it was originally supposed to be December, but got pushed to January. We're starting the new year with making New Year's with org confessions. So knowing, like look back at problems that should be fixed, and then deluxe report types by Evan. Evan Stryker. So he gave deluxe report types. So if you want to make a New Year's resolution, you need to know how to report on it. You have to keep yourself accountable. So I always have these little ways of weaving stuff in, and then kind of like it's not an official Salesforce group, but I've been leading a study group for App Builder and now for Advanced Admin. I passed my App Builder exam last Sunday, and I have a study group for that. So if anyone's interested in joining a study group for App Builder or Advanced Admin, I'll put my LinkedIn in this chat.
So congratulations. We're going to touch on that slide in a couple of minutes. Also, the study groups, we'll touch on that in a few minutes. And yes, if you want to send the information over on yours as well, all good stuff. And by the way, this is Jason Zykowitz in Phoenix. You said everything but your name. So.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, we're Brady Bunch. Yeah, you might not.
No worries. Thank you, Jason. That's awesome. Congratulations on getting in as the Phoenix co-leader or in the application process, but awesome. Thank you. Any other from outside of Kansas City folks?
Well, Dale, the obvious answer would be me.
Yeah, true.
But, you know, I lead the group here in Southern Indiana as well. Been doing that for years. I think it's like 11 years now I've been leading that group.
Nice.
So
very cool. Any big notable things coming out of your group that KC might be interested in?
Not at the moment. We're a small group where our attendance is usually about half the size of what you all have here today. I'm actually trying to figure out our next meeting sometime later this week to get something on the books for late January, early February.
Gotcha. Very cool. Well, we appreciate you both being on here, so thank you. And Jason just posted his LinkedIn to connect on the study groups in the chat thread there. Thank you, sir. Do we have any Salesforce employees on the call? I'm not seeing any names, but anyone from the mothership? Okay. All right, our celebrations. So do we have any first-time attendees? Either drop your name in the chat or unmute and say hi. Someone raised a hand.
So Nasru's raising his hand. He's one of my guests. I invited him. Well, kind of
awesome.
invited him.
Thank you. Go ahead and introduce yourself super quick, if you're comfortable.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Nasruddin. I'm currently in India. I'm just working as a Salesforce developer in an organization. So I'm just interested in attending community group events regularly. So I just joined here and I'm just listening to what people do.
Fantastic. Well, welcome from
That's
11
what
and a half
it's
hours
all
away.
about.
We appreciate having you. Thanks for joining. And thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Yeah.
Any new roles or jobs or job openings to share from anybody? I don't.
Yeah, currently, I think we don't have any. If there is something means, I will share it.
Absolutely, sounds good. Melanie Ball from UNB posted before the holidays. There is a CRM platform partner position open. I checked last night; it's still open. So I've put the link to the LinkedIn post here if anybody wants to check that out. New certifications: who passed, who failed, who's studying.
I passed App Builder and now studying for Advanced Admin. Thank you. But I'm still studying for App Builder as well. Like I have that study group, knowledge is great and transferable. So still using that study material for Advanced Admin. As well as for
Absolutely.
life.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyone else going through certifications right now?
Yeah, hi. I'm just going through Platform Developer 2. I'm just trying to give exam next month.
All right, good luck. Very nice. So
yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So for those who either don't have any certifications yet or are looking for study groups, this is a safe place. We all have our own various backgrounds, our own various experiences. It is absolutely okay to fail a certification test. We all have. Seriously, if I showed you my list of how many I failed compared to how many I passed, like you'd be surprised to see anything that says passed. So it is totally okay. Not seeing a start update for the last couple of releases. We'll touch on that in a second, Mike. They are kind of playing with some things, but this is a safe place to ask questions, to celebrate, to commiserate. We've all been there, so that's why we like to call it out. At least as of last night, and I'm guessing for the foreseeable future, if you take an online proctored certification test, the second webcam requirement is suspended. All you need to use is, that guy right there on your laptop. Pre-COVID, you had to have another camera like somewhere over the room so that they can monitor your whole area. They've suspended that. So it definitely makes taking the online tests easier and more feasible. If you are planning on taking an exam, though, sign up as soon as you possibly can, because they do have proctors on the other side that they have to staff and have to fill. It's not an unlimited number of time slots. You can't just log in and say, I'm taking a certification right now. If you have a goal of getting a certain certification, go put the date on there now. Go register as soon as possible so that you have your slot locked in and then you can work towards it. But yes, it's easier with no second webcam, but it's a lot more popular and a lot more in demand. I haven't looked around to see if anything is reopened locally. Like I always went to Johnson County Community College. I don't know if they've reopened anything. There's a couple on the Missouri side as well. Another one like 105th and Metcalf. I don't know where they stand. I've just been focusing on online, and of course it's all personal preference of safety. If you feel comfortable going into a center and whatever, I would highly advocate the online experience just because it's right there, and they have made it that much easier with only needing the one webcam.
Also, maybe call the center first. I looked at the website's COVID page, and they said they do social distancing when possible. I know. Possible. Yeah, when possible. Yeah, I'm like.
Okay, that's a great. That's a good.
We follow safety protocols when possible.
Right. We'll see. No, good call out. That's all the more reason to just say do it online, call it good. But your preference, I would just advocate for the online. All right, we're going to keep rolling here through community resources and events. So MVP office hours, that's a call that I co-host with Joy Shutters Helding in Chicago and Squire Kirshner in Milwaukee. We normally do first and third Friday of every month, but no one was going to join on New Year's Day. So we figured we'd, push that one back. So we're off schedule this month. Our next call is next Friday. We'll be back to normal in February, 1 p.m. Central for those of you who are not in the Central time zone. Both of those links are static. You can go register. Bring any questions, any answers, any perspectives. You don't have to be an MVP to answer the question. We just facilitate the call. We own the Zoom account, and then we just make sure we keep it moving. World tour, Salesforce events, you get information on those. Obviously, they're pretty much all still virtual, but that site is still up to date. Trailhead Live, any live webinars, any recorded webinars that you may have missed with filters. If you're looking for a specific piece of content, that's a great place to go see the live recordings. The webinars then would have the recordings as well. Go check those. Community events, Eric and I co-lead. He's the godfather of the community event, but I'm just on his team to help. But community events are Dreamforces run by us in the community. Very little Salesforce oversight, so we get to control and do it however we feel is best, and it's generally regional. A lot of them are still virtual. I think they're almost all entirely virtual, but you can get information on those for a more intimate Dreamforce feeling. If you're interested. Certification prep weeks and certification days. I haven't seen any updates on any new sessions, but again, we're going to share the deck with these links. Go follow Danielle Karendian because she puts out the content like as soon as she has it. She's a great person to follow to get any of those. Trailblazer mentorship. If you want to be a mentor, if you want to be a mentee, I highly advocate that program. They do a lot of skills matching. So that there's a very little chance you will waste your time with that. It will be a positive experience. Again, if you're looking to get into the Salesforce ecosystem, if you're looking for someone to mentor you, great program. If you're looking for a way to give back and be a mentor, it's awesome. You will walk out feeling very fulfilled through that experience. And then idea exchange prioritization. I haven't seen anything about an active session coming up, but that's your place to find out when it's going to be back open again and shape the future of the Salesforce platform. True to the core, just announced yesterday, January 26th, will be Service Cloud. It is, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I put it on my calendar that it's 5 o'clock Central. I'm eating dinner at that point, but maybe I'll have to multitask, eat and watch. But True to the Core is where the product owners, they get out there and they answer your questions about what's on the roadmap. Why have we done something? Why have we not done something? It's kind of, it's not an opportunity to grill them, but it's an opportunity to get honest feedback to your questions that you may have about why things do and don't work and where is the product going. Okay, the study groups, advanced admin. So Jason, I will share out your links and everything, but our friend Terry Miller up in Des Moines, he is starting another study group, this time for advanced admin. It begins in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tomorrow, from, you put the time in there? Yeah, over the lunch hour, noon to 1 Central, for 13 weeks. So if you are interested, absolutely sign up. Terry is beyond awesome. I think he's 15 or 16x certified. He's on the architect path. He has done some amazing things on the platform, and he has the ability to explain the most complex things incredibly simply. You will definitely benefit if you're looking to get that certification and you can commit the 13 weeks. Definitely go sign up with Terry. And then also Jason, I don't know what your timing is going to be, but if people connect with you, maybe the Wednesdays don't work and Jason's timing works better, whichever. There's no competition. The end goal is for all of us to grow. So.
Hey Dale, one more thing I want to throw out there while you're talking about Terry. Check out his YouTube channel as well.
Okay.
He's got a great YouTube channel where he shares tons of cool stuff and some of the things that he's done. I think it's called Terry's Tidbits or something along those lines too.
Good call. I made a note. I will share that out after the meeting. Trailblazer Academy is offering some developer courses at a 20% discount. sign up through the end of the month with the registration code here. Anything Salesforce taught, they're going to teach you exactly how Salesforce wants it to be done. So you can't go wrong with that either. And then finally, our friend David Giller, who presented back in May, he is still offering his reports and dashboards class for free. I checked it last night. It still had the $79 crossed out and replaced by free. So if you need a really good in-depth course on reports and dashboards, David is your guy. Spring 21 release, we are in the middle, we're in the thick of it. These are all links that, again, will get shared out, but the infographic with the timing, we're mid-release, so a lot of things have already come out and we're in the middle of it, but there's still like the webinars and things like that coming up. The release in a box, this is a great kit for you to share with your stakeholders, with your company. It's free, easily accessible by anybody, and you can pick and choose what content you need to take that applies to your company or your clients or whatever, to then say, and because of all these enhancements in the spring 21 release, I'm going to need X number of hours to make sure that we're still up to date. The release notes, those came out right before Christmas. So, and they're now on the help domain. They got moved from developer. They're on the help domain. We now have the Trailhead module. There's also, I think this is the second or third release with this, but the Salesforce release readiness strategies, that's a really, really neat Trailhead module as well that I highly recommend to probably then couple with the release in a box to help advertise and market it to your stakeholders. Feature matrix and overview deck are supposed to come out today. I haven't checked to see if they got released this morning, but if they have, I'll put the links in here before I share the deck. But yeah, it's supposed to come out today. And then these are the dates for the spring 21 go live in production. You can always check status.salesforce.com for maintenance updates, including the major releases and outages and any of those things. Release readiness live webinars coming up here in a couple of weeks. Global release webinars are still TBD. Certification maintenance exams. There are 4 or 5 that are due in April. They haven't given us the exact date. Platform App Builder and a number of others are December. And then I can't remember if there's another one it's either August or next April, but I'll get the link out there that talks about when those exact dates are. But immediately you have the admin and there's a couple of others that pertain to almost all of us that are in April. So go to Trailhead and just make sure that you are up to date and current, because you would hate to lose those certifications. Again, the COVID protocols for maintenance exams and I highly recommend following the Release Readiness Trailblazers Success Group. Set your email digest to daily digest. Weekly is, don't get me started. Weekly is not often enough. Every post is too much. Daily is that sweet spot. All right, time for me to shut up and give it over to Eric. Eric Dreshfield, he joined us a couple of months ago with some job seeking tips and resume readiness and things like that for new admins, for existing admins, and not even just admins, but any of us. Now he's here on behalf of his company, ActiveCampaign, to discuss customer experience. You don't have to be a consultant. You don't have to be an ISV to have customers. If you're an admin, your users are your customers. So this pertains to absolutely everybody. And he's going to talk about ActiveCampaign's products as well, but it's largely focused on customer experience, or CX is the hot new term. So Eric Dreshfield, from Southern Indiana, the godfather of the community event, the Kevin Bacon, or just Captain Bacon. When he calls me or texts me, a picture of a sizzling piece of bacon pops up on my phone. I kid you not.
And Dale, I seem to recall you tagging me in photos of bacon on Facebook for a while to see if their algorithm would do it for you.
I didn't get the artificial intelligence that's sophisticated enough, but it was definitely worth the effort. But yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to Eric now. One of my dear friends in life, not just in Salesforce. We appreciate having you here. I'm gonna go on mute. I'm gonna stop presenting and let you do your thing, good sir.
Sounds great. Let me get my screen shared. Make sure I'm sharing the right one. All right. Now let me rearrange things so I can see what I'm doing here. The downside of still being relatively new on a Mac. Sometimes things take a little longer than they should for me.
And we
Anyway,
should also call out that Eric is playing hurt. He injured his shoulder a little while ago, so he's in a sling. He's playing hurt, so definitely very appreciative of him.
and of course I injured my dominant arm, my right arm, and
Yeah.
I'm right-handed. So
Right.
because you don't break your fall off of a ladder with your non-dominant arm.
Exactly. Who does that?
Yeah, I don't know. I should have thought about that on my way down, but it was a quick trip. So anyway, well, thanks for being here, everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to talk to you a little bit about customer experience and why that's important that you consider that in everything that you do. The intro slide on me. I don't know if we need to talk through this. Dale covered a fair amount of that, but I'll leave it up there for a moment or two in case anybody wants to grab my Twitter handle or my LinkedIn handle and connect with me offline from this meeting. I'm more than happy to enter into conversations with anybody related to Salesforce. So connect with me, hit me up with questions about anything Salesforce related, and if I don't know the answer, chances are I know someone that knows the answer, and that's where the Kevin Bacon nickname came from. So for today's presentation, the topic is customer experience and why that's important and why you should consider that in everything you do. So in a hypothetical situation, we are all running a company called AJ's PJs, and our PJs are simple, organic, and comfortable. And AJ's PJs is the only sleepwear store selling 100% certified organic sleepwear and accessories. And your customers love what you do and they love your products and they're super excited when you come out with something new. That's great, right? That's what you want. You want a business that's profitable. You want a business that has excited customers. But, as a small business owner, that's not all you do. Your challenge is to achieve success, right? And that usually creates all sorts of other problems. You've got to work on your budgeting. You've got to place your orders so that your supplies are there and so that you have things to sell. You may need to do some coaching if you have some employees working for you and things aren't necessarily working the way you want them to with those employees. Um, Thinking about it from a customer perspective, what are your customers looking for? They don't care about all this background stuff. They want an experience that they can manipulate and manage on their own that makes the buying process very simple and very easy, but they also want it to be personalized. They don't want to feel like they're just another customer. They want you to understand who they are and to greet them when they hit your website. They want you to greet them with information that's relevant to them. There was a study done not too long ago by Accenture that said 75% of consumers are more likely to make a purchase from a customer that knows their name and their purchase history and makes recommendations aligned to those preferences. I mean that makes a lot of sense to me as an individual. I mean, think about some of the other places where you and I may spend some time where we see this happen. And I'll have a slide on this a little later, but I'll just mention one company really quickly on this. Netflix. You go to log into Netflix, you see what you've watched recently, and you get a bunch of suggestions on things that you might like because of what you've already watched. That's part of CX, part of customer experience. So basically the way to run a good business is to make your customer feel like you're talking to them one on one, even if they are one in a million or one in 200 or whatever. They want that personalized experience. So customer experience, it's a challenge or it's a multiplier. Harvard Business Review recently said 48% of customers who had a negative experience told 10 people or more. And Forbes once said not too long ago, 50% of customers increased purchasing with the brand after a positive customer experience. So, which side of that coin do you want to be on? Do you want customers to share positive things about you, or do you want customers to share negative things about you? That's a rhetorical question. I don't think most of us need to really think about that long before we understand the answer to that one. So here we go. Here's some companies that provide what we generally consider excellent customer experience. Think about your own personal experiences with some of these companies: Amazon, Apple, Southwest Airlines. Whoops, hitting the button too soon. Sorry. Um, Lyft, Netflix, the one I already mentioned. Those are just a few of them. They always seem to present you with information that's relevant to what you're trying to do. Um, that makes sense, that's personalized, and the timing is always good. Um, Personally, I just got an email from Lyft a couple days ago because it's been a little while since I've used them. They offered me a 10% off for my next 6 rides. Back when I traveled a lot, I generally alternated between Lyft and Uber based upon whoever sent me a discount code. And when I ended up using Uber for a couple of weeks, then I'd get something from Lyft as an offer. Hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Here's 20% off your next 6 rides or whatever. Um, that's all part of building customer experience and getting your customers to become loyal to you as a brand, which is everything you want as a business owner, right? So, it's not easy. There's a lot of channels out there that you can go through. As a small business owner, you may or may not have enough time to do all those things. There's so many different tools that are available to manage all of these things. The data is oftentimes siloed, stuck in its own little place, and they don't necessarily talk to each other. And if you are trying to manipulate and manage all that on your own, you're going to have a struggle, that's for sure. And that's where ActiveCampaign comes in. We are the customer experience automation category leader, and that's everything that we do is around building out the appropriate customer experience for our customers. So let's take a look at what customer experience automation really is. It's a category of software that allows businesses to connect and automate personalized touch points across the entire customer lifecycle. It's about making the customer feel like they have a personal relationship with you, no matter how big you get or how fast you grow. It's different than other solutions because it actually boosts the effectiveness of your existing tool set and can work in tandem with all sorts of other products that you may already be using. One of the things that ActiveCampaign kind of prides itself on is our integration capabilities with around 300 other platforms and tools that are already out there. And chances are some of you are using some of those already. So how do we do this? What does ActiveCampaign solve and how does it work? So customer experience automation is a little bit different from marketing automation. It's a little different from CRM and it's a little bit different from service tools. But it takes all of those things into consideration and makes them into an entire experience that your customers get connected to, and it makes it more like one fluid conversation with you and your customers. Customers don't just want an email from marketing when they need support or when they want to purchase something. What they really are looking for is you to help guide them along their purchasing experiences, to help them understand what they might be missing, perhaps in some of the things that they might be interested in purchasing from you. One of the other things that we bring to the table as ActiveCampaign is we are a complete solution, but we're not a complex solution. We have a lot of pre-built automations out there, recipes as we call them, that you can take advantage of to bring into your own company to help with your own customers' experiences with your company. What these automations can do is help orchestrate that complete experience for your customer across your entire life cycle with them. So we figured out the hard parts of customer experience and automation, wow, and segmentation of those customers and how to personalize and orchestrate all that through the tools that you're already using, in addition to ActiveCampaign's platform. So the final pillar that we're focused on is enabling the true omni-channel experience where your customers need to connect with you across email, text, messaging, chat, social. We want to be wherever they are, and you want to be able to have those conversations with your customers wherever they want to have those conversations. So I do have one of my colleagues on the line here with us, and she is going to give us a brief demo of ActiveCampaign. Kelly, let me stop sharing my screen so you can jump in and share yours. If
Perfect.
I gotta find the right window to do that. Hang on 1 second.
And Kelly, thank you for joining us. I made you a co-host to hopefully minimize any.
Oh, hang on, there it is. Stop share. There we go.
Let's see. Yep, looks like we're good to go. Thanks so much. So, hi everyone. I'm a solutions consultant with ActiveCampaign. So I help a lot of current and prospective customers with ActiveCampaign make sure that they have the best marketing and solutions stack for them. As Eric said, we do cater to a lot of people who are looking for very complete stacks. But they don't want something complex. You don't want something where you have to have a huge development team to build it out. And that's really one of ActiveCampaign's goals, is to be able to have approachable, stackable solutions that make sure that you're getting the best solutions that meet your business and your needs, since you guys have so much else going on in your day. So what we're going to do quickly is a little demo of the ActiveCampaign and Salesforce integration. I don't think we have to talk about too much here how much Salesforce is an amazing platform full of, I'm sure, a lot of people's data. ActiveCampaign is the customer experience automation system. So we take data and we automate it for you so that you can have a one-to-one connection with your customers. A lot of times these two things tend to be separated, which is not ideal. You want them together so you can make sure that you're making informed decisions on your marketing and that you're making automated decisions about what your messaging is going to be like. So the goal with the Salesforce ActiveCampaign integration is to make sure all of your wonderful collected data within Salesforce comes into ActiveCampaign so that you have the best data with the best marketing and automation, so you can make sure that your time might be allocated towards all the other jobs that you have going on. So a little bit about ActiveCampaign and the integration. We are on the Salesforce App Exchange, so it's something that's going to be really easy for you to just download, provide the credentials, and get going. In terms of what's possible within the integration, it is going to be a bidirectional syncing of the data between the two systems. So if you want to utilize ActiveCampaign as your lead generation tool in some ways, not a problem. ActiveCampaign can push that information over to Salesforce for you. But then if you have other leads that might be coming into Salesforce originally, maybe through sales lead generation, no problem, we can push it back the other way. ActiveCampaign has really adaptable data points. We call them custom fields. They're pretty much just anything that you see in your details page on Salesforce. And both of those will be able to talk back and forth to each other so that you can have the information in both places in sync at all times. On top of that, though, we're going to add some additional information for you to make sure that the insights within both places are really kind of give you a holistic view in your Salesforce environment. And one of those places is going to be through the CXA activities. With that, we're going to be able to give you all the activities that are going on in ActiveCampaign right from within your Salesforce environment. To access this information, you don't have to be logged in as a user within ActiveCampaign. You don't need additional credentials within ActiveCampaign. You just need an ActiveCampaign account and to have it connected. And once you have that, you're going to be able to see every single email that's been sent through ActiveCampaign. We also do site tracking within our system. So where are they going on your website? What are they interacting with on your website? That's going to come into our CXA activities portal as well. And then on top of that, we'll be able to even click on that email and show you a view of what that email was sent. Because I'm sure, if any of you guys have a marketing and a sales team, sometimes the sales team doesn't always read the emails of the amazing marketing emails that marketing created. So this will keep them in touch with all the amazing things that are going out to your customers. And then one other point down here, so we also have an additional CX component which would allow for any user within your Salesforce environment to be able to send a one-time email through ActiveCampaign or to enter a contact into an automation. And I'll show you an automation in just a second. But this is essentially a workflow. As Eric was talking about, that CX automation, making sure that based off of data, people are going down different paths. And we can enter them in right within your Salesforce environment. And again, not needing those additional logins. And there are permissions for anyone who's thinking, I probably don't want someone to have access to everything. That was one of my first thoughts when I saw it. So we can make sure to limit what people are and are not seeing. In addition to that, so what we're going to be syncing between Salesforce and ActiveCampaign in terms of the objects are going to be the lead, the contact, and the account object. We're going to have a bidirectional sync for all of the data that's associated between those three objects in Salesforce to our contacts and account object within ActiveCampaign. So within ActiveCampaign, you're going to be able to have all emails and all information be synced between the two systems, and you're going to be able to have people go through and in and out automations within ActiveCampaign, syncing back over with Salesforce. So this goes with the idea or the additional scenario that we had in terms of having ActiveCampaign be your lead generation. ActiveCampaign has landing pages. We have wonderful form builders that are easy to use. Again, not complex, but building out and making sure that you have a strong way to get people invested into your business and learning more. So what for this automation, once someone has submitted a form, I'm actually waiting for a little bit, but for our automations, they're really like Legos. You can build it how you would like to. So you could take that part out if you wanted to, but what I wanted is, I didn't want every single lead going over to my Salesforce. I have precious amount of time, and I want to make sure that I'm only investing in the people who are really investing in us for now. So I have a little bit of a threshold here that waits until they've interacted with us to a scoring of 25 points, a customized scoring that I created just for my business. And then once I found that they've reached that threshold, which means for my score that they're interacting with my emails, they're going to my website, maybe that they have a certain characteristic about them, then I'm going to go send them over to Salesforce and I'm going to go kill them with my sales skills. So we have the ability to automatically kind of keep those thresholds in which we want to send people over to Salesforce, and likewise from Salesforce to ActiveCampaign. And these are going to be really easy conditions that you can just add into an automation. Likewise, if we wanted to do a contact instead, we could do that as well. So really easy to build to make that connection between the two. And in terms of the setup, it's going to be a really quick and easy setup for you. Once you download the installed package of the ActiveCampaign integration, you're just going to map your fields back and forth between the two, saying that you want an email address to go to the email place. I want name to go to name. And then we're going to configure our outbound sync settings, which means when do I want this to sync? Do I want this to sync on an hourly basis, a daily basis, and at what time? So do you just select those in terms of the drop-down menu? And I'll just kind of show you what that looks like as well. So really quick and easy drop-down options. And then you'll be good to go. And then once you have everything set up, you'll let it run. You really don't need to worry about a thing, but just in case you want to just make sure that everything's going okay, we'll have a health dashboard for you just to make sure you have a everything's nice and sound. If there are any errors, we're going to let you know, and we're going to let you view that so you can see, okay, well, this one errored out. Why did it? And if I need to push it again, then I can. So we make sure that you have a bidirectional sync to make sure that Salesforce is in the loop with everything that's going on with ActiveCampaign, and ActiveCampaign has the ability to create that most unique customer experience based off that data you have in Salesforce, and a reminder to show you that everything's going okay, because we all need that little bit of reassurance sometimes, especially in 2020. Oh, it's 2021, but it's all blending together. And that's my spiel about ActiveCampaign and the Salesforce integration. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer, but I know you guys also have a lot of other things on your schedule today.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelly.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Thank you both, Kelly and Eric. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute and fire away. And that's okay too.
Yep, that is. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So one question that I'll ask, what are some of the more, not unique, but obviously you have like an 80, 20, 90, 10 customer use case of actually reaching out to, of allowing your product to reach out to your customers' customers and do the traditional customer-y things. What are some of the use cases that you may have used for admins, developers, Salesforce resources internally to get their users and get their executives bought into this? Because I was posting in the chat that anybody can be a customer, whether it's a B2B, a B2C, or an internal organization using Salesforce. Do you have any use cases that fit more that internal model?
So internal Salesforce users using ActiveCampaign?
Yeah, to help, coach up increased adoption and making the end user be heard of how to potentially increase adoption, or internal company marketing campaigns, or anything like that. The words make sense in my head. And I say that to my wife a lot. Is this strictly for the B2B, the B2C, the B2B to B2C to B2B space, or do companies use this internally?
Oh yeah, I mean, we have a lot of people use it both internally and externally. I mean, just because you have those automated messaging, I mean, actually ActiveCampaign uses it internally ourselves. And then we have a lot of companies use it internally as well, because not only do you need automated messaging going out to your customers, but making sure that everyone's staying in sync with updated, information about what's going on with companies as well. We actually, so our tech and product team use it, our marketing team use it just for kind of outbound types of information that's going on, especially again, because we're connected with so many different systems. ActiveCampaign is even the same way. I know, I'm sure, internally Salesforce is the same way that we have marketing stacks as well, because it's kind of hard to find the one solution that'll give you everything just the way you want it. And I'm a little bit picky myself when it comes to marketing tools, and I'm not even a marketer. So you can imagine, people who are extremely strong in marketing, you have a specific way that you want to go about things. So making sure that you have something that's integrating with all of your other internal tools can be super useful in that way.
Gotcha.
Did that answer your question?
Yes. Yep. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments or thoughts for Eric or Kelly?
Yeah, we like Kelly said, we are on the App Exchange, and you can start your own free trial from the App Exchange if you wanted to. We do offer discounts for nonprofits as well, like a lot of the App Exchange partners do, and nonprofits that seems to be one of our growing markets right now too, is nonprofits are using ActiveCampaign. So.
And the only threshold to have a Salesforce ActiveCampaign integration is to have a Salesforce account and to have an ActiveCampaign account.
Right. Yeah. So even if you're on Salesforce Essentials, you can use ActiveCampaign. You don't have to be on one of the higher level licenses with Salesforce.
That's huge. Awesome. Okay. Well, if nobody has any questions or thoughts, Kelly, we definitely appreciate you jumping on and walking us through it. Love it when it's, no disrespect to the developers, but love it when somebody like me can potentially pick it up and use it and do some powerful things with it. So definitely, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks, Kelly.
And thank you, Eric, for, again, I can't get past how we all have our own customers, whether, again, it's, the traditional monetary sense or whether it's our internal users. I'm going to admit, I made a really bad assumption yesterday. I logged into Zoom and I was like, okay, how do you set up breakout rooms? Because I promised that that's what we were going to do. And then lo and behold, I find out that I don't have breakout rooms on my Zoom account. And it was a little late to switch the whole meeting link around and what platform, and make sure that all of you know that we got it or whatever. So we don't have another presentation lined up, but one of the big things that Jeff and we've heard from you, we've also heard by observing from other user group leaders around the country and around the world, is that we are all on Zoom fatigue. We're on webinar fatigue. We miss the networking. We miss the collaboration. that was why we wanted to get back into the breakouts, just like what we used to do when we were at Mazuma or American Century. At this point in the meeting, we'd all break out to our own corners of the room, and the admins would get together, and the devs and all of that. I really wanted to make that happen. We have 24, if you subtract out me, Eric, and Kelly, there's 21 of you. That, you know, maybe the groups might have been a little small, but I want this to be an open floor conversation. We can do either what's coming up in spring 21. We're coming up on a year of COVID and remote working. I mean, pick your poison. There's probably quite a bit that somebody has questions on or would like to share or whatever. So I'm going to open up the floor to anybody who wants to kick something off. I do have some questions if nobody else has anything to bring up, but I want us to get back to, this is supposed to be networking and collaboration and being there for each other. So we have heard that, and we definitely want to make it happen. So if somebody has something they want to unmute and speak up or ask a question or open the floor with, please, by all means.
I'll dive in there, Dale.
Awesome.
I'm curious how people are managing life and being able to balance the multiple Zoom meetings a day with possibly having a spouse working from home or children working schooling from home. How do you manage all that? How do you keep everybody on track? I mean, you're not only working and trying to do your own job, but you're assisting the teachers and making sure your kids are learning and things like that. For me personally, my kids are all older. The youngest is 19 and in college, a fully online college program, and she knows probably more about how to manage all that computer stuff than I do, it feels like at times. So this is not an issue for me, fortunately, but I'm curious how other people may be dealing with that and trying to maintain some sanity throughout all that.
I can say, so obviously as a consultant, working for a non-Kansas City based company, I've been work from home for 3-4 years now. So that I already have my office space in the guest bedroom at the end of the hall. I already had that. My wife is a therapist. She was part of an on-site practice that she actually activated telehealth this time last year. So COVID hadn't hit us yet. It was more, she had the option to start doing telehealth. So she went through everything she needed to do. And then she was already up and running once everything got locked down in March. And she's been obviously exclusively telehealth since, will be for the foreseeable future. But she sees clients on Mondays and Thursdays. So we use Google Calendar to manage who's picking up kids, when am I off work and on dad duty when she's seeing clients, and who's doing what and all of that. The oldest is remote high school, remote entirely. And then the two littler kids, their schools have very strict COVID protocols. So they've had no sicknesses, well, I think one kid in the first grader school had a case, but that was it. But just observing all the protocols and Google Calendar, and honestly, above anything, patience and communication and flexibility. Recognizing that these are not normal times. And the last thing I'll say is definitely taking care of our kids' mental health as well as ours. I see a therapist. My wife is a therapist. We're in talking to kids about the fatigue that they have of, if they're in school, they're wearing a mask, they hate it, but it's what we got to do to protect everybody else. My oldest doesn't love being 100% remote, but he's also thriving in it. He'd much rather be having the high school experience. We would love for him to have that, but lowering our expectations and having patience for it, that things continue to be not normal, and us controlling what we can do to hopefully make things better.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Dale.
Who else?
Yeah, I definitely agree with hi, it's Corinne. Hey, I definitely agree with Dale. So the two things that I do to cope is, number one, set your expectations extremely low, and trust me, it works. It's really good. And number two, look back every day and see what you have accomplished, because by the time that you count everything that you've done on your fingers, it's actually quite a bit. It's pretty awesome, and it puts Sorry, I was running up and down the stairs. Hold on. It puts your efforts into perspective, because maybe during the day or by the end of the night, you feel like you've done nothing and you've gotten nothing done. But when you actually look back and you're like, hey, I actually made dinner tonight. I didn't have to go to McDonald's. I actually got one load of laundry done, and I didn't have to go to Walmart to buy a pair of undies. Whatever it is, that's how I keep sane.
Yeah, that reminds me of a couple different sayings. One of them is celebrate the small victories, and the other is don't sweat the small stuff, and that's usually followed by it's all small stuff.
Absolutely. I'm reaching into my bag to go with that, Corinne. I've actually started journaling, and yes, the branding is very obvious, but I've started journaling my goals in the morning and my accomplishments in the day. And you are absolutely right. When your brain tells you you've done nothing, but you then quantify it, it really does help you sleep a little bit better. It helps you feel a little bit more fulfilled. So 100% echo you there.
Also, so yeah, my life's not stressful with dealing with kids around, but still the schedule that I kind of put together, and being at home. One of the tips I picked up is from Michael Hickel in Austin, Texas, whose nickname is Happy. So Happy Michael Hickel. And he told me about this practice that he does is list 10 things he's grateful for before getting out of bed and before coming into bed. And it's a lot, 10 things, but you can do it as simply as like, oh, well, I got fingers and toes, 10 fingers and toes, just whatever. It's simple it is. And sometimes I don't even get all the way up to 10, but I just get the momentum going. And I have that mindset going for whenever something does happen. I just have like a habit now of finding what I can be grateful for. And bad stuff still does happen, but I'm able to be resilient from it, bounce back and be resilient from it. And as far as like noting what you that and noting your accomplishments, I'm trying to find if you like podcasts or books, I'll refer this into the link. This is a book that I found out about from, actually it was a sales podcast, but the person has their own podcast called the Happy Brain Podcast. So Habits of a Happy Brain, and be aware of like the 4 happy brain chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. And so being aware of those and how we need to put that into our daily diet as much as we're putting in other foods that we're eating, be aware of what chemicals we're eating. Are we getting too much cortisol from stress? Instead, how can we get dopamine from noting victories, and oxytocin from being with friends and connecting with people, and serotonin from having serenity and acknowledging our status and safety, and endorphins from exercise. And that's why I have a standing desk, so I could be getting my mind running while my legs are too.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good. Yeah, if you can share the link out, I wrote it down to put on my list, but yeah, we may need to have a book club at some point.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jason stole mine, but regular exercise is sort of my go-to. I have a dog who demands that I walk him every day at lunchtime, and he knows what time it is. So if I don't walk him at lunchtime, he'll let me know. But then I also have accumulated a home gym in my basement since the beginning of COVID, and have my rowing machine just got delivered today, so I'm super excited about that. But I try to, like I say, I have to walk the dog every day, and then I try to hit the basement gym in the evenings, and that really gets me away from my desk, kind of recenters me, gets out some of that stress. But yeah, that's one of my big coping strategies is regular exercise. So
awesome. I have a couple of other things, but I don't want to monopolize the mic. So, okay. So I will say on exercises, I have a treadmill in the basement that I do it first thing in the morning because, again, time coordination. My wife does her workout about 9 in the morning, and I can't always get a lunch break because if I'm working or whatever. So 6 in the morning, it sucks, but it gets it done. But knowing that over the course of a day, I'm going to always be in front of screens, and work is just multitasking at baseline. I mean, again, lowering your expectations incredibly low to know that you're going to be multitasking. I've actually tried to find ways to relax the stress I put on my brain. So when I run on the treadmill, I'm not watching TV anymore. Even though the TV is right there, I would love to watch Sports Center or a recorded KU game or whatever. I'm not turning on the TV to be focusing on that, to also be processing, because there's so many things going on immediately, so many things out in the world to be worrying about, whatever, that if it's just me and my headphones with a shuffle that I've had for 10, 15, 20 years, and I can tune out the music, that's one less thing to think about, and I can focus on the benefits I'm getting out of exercise without stressing about everything else. That's definitely helped. Also, like, my plan after this, when we shut this off, whenever we do, I'm going down to my basement, and my son and I have been my oldest and I have been working on a 1,000-piece puzzle of it's a panorama of the Rocky Mountains from our trip to where we found a very secluded cabin in Estes Park and spent a week there. He got a puzzle at one of the gift shops or whatever. We've been working on that. It's no screen. I can just think about, oh, hey, this picture of a tree looks like it'll fit here. I'll just do that. That's going to be my break. It gets me out of the office. It's 29 degrees. I'm not going to go for another run outside because, well, I don't hate myself that much. It's still something to just kind of not be focused on work, not looking at the screen. And then also with the screen, I have the app. So with an iPhone, I have Apple's screen time widget on my home screen to help control how much I'm looking at my phone. If I don't need to be looking at my phone, I'm not. I've removed email. I have removed social. I have removed the 7 Summit Slack channel. I've removed all forms of major connectivity from my phone. I've pretty much completely detached from social, all the external things. The biggest thing that I've learned is, with being hunkered down for the last year, is have control over what you can have control over. Be okay with the things you can't have control over, and remove yourself from the things you can't have control over. Social media is just a nightmare right now. So you know what? I'm not going to bring myself down with it. I don't get anything out of it. So I'm not going to go there. It's those kinds of choices that have helped free up energy, reduce stress, and definitely I feel like, give me more endurance and longevity over the course of the day, where I know there's a lot going on in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very wise, Dale. As much as, like, there's those brain chemicals that psychologist is aware of, social media engineers are aware of those brain chemicals too. So that's why they try to send you notifications, give you that dopamine fix, like, oh, what's going on? Yeah, so being able to block that out, not let, because even just having it, even if you're not going to be looking at it, just getting notified, it disrupts you. So not letting yourself get tempted, disrupted, is very good for setting your environment. I love listening to podcasts, but knowing when. So is exactly like in the morning, I like to do yoga and work out in the morning, but that time I actually just listen to just music, just to get a rhythm, instead of a podcast where I have to be more focused. And just like you were saying, being able to just quiet down the mind instead of taking in more information. And so that's why I thought of, when you mentioned that, the Deep Listening podcast, great podcast for not only listening to others, but the first level of deep listening is listening to yourself, and just having a moment of silence to just be able to meditate, not formally, but wherever you can, just find that space to be able to just let previous thoughts digest, make connections, think deeper subconsciously, and be ready for the next step, whatever you're doing.
Mhm. Absolutely. Part of
So one of the things that my employer recently did was made available a license to every person at the company for the Calm app. And
awesome.
if you're not familiar with the Calm app, check it out on the App Store, Apple App Store, or I think it's on Google also. But it's loaded with stories that people read that are 20, 30 minutes long, very calming, very soothing. Or you can just simply have the sound of rainfall playing, and it's designed to try to help you wind down at the end of the day and help you sleep. And all of these things, they only run for a certain amount of time, and it's been kind of cool for me to utilize that, especially right now with my injury and my arm being in one of those slings with the pillow that holds your arm out away from your body. And I'm normally a stomach sleeper, and I can't do that right now. So sleep has been pretty difficult for me, but with using the Calm app, it certainly made that transition a little less stressful and a little less painful for me.
Nice. That's huge. Calm is, like I said, my wife's a therapist, and it's one of her top recommendations to her clients. It's not a cost; it's an investment. And if you also work for a company that will subsidize that cost, even better. But
Yeah.
it is very much well worth it. Um, I'll unless anybody else has something that they want to add about their daily routine or mental health. Anybody else have anything they want to jump in with? Because I want to transition a little bit.
Hey, Dale, this is Sandy. Real quick. Yeah. So back to kind of what Corinne was saying, she really struck a nerve when she said, hey, we didn't go to McDonald's today. Mm-hmm. It's, the struggle's real for all those moms and dads out there who are now cooking like 99.9% of the time because you don't go to restaurants anymore, and that's not a thing you can do. So one thing we did with our family, and something I never, ever, ever thought I would do, is we signed up, not to be a salesperson here, but we signed up with Radish Kids, and they send you a little box every month. It comes with 3 recipes, and these are recipes we typically would probably not ever think to do because you're stuck in that rut of, hey, let's do mac and cheese again tonight, or hey, let's pull the frozen nuggets out of the freezer.
Spaghetti all the nights.
Yeah. So these recipes, like January was themed around an Italian restaurant.
Okay.
So it comes with a recipe for 3 cheese ravioli, a recipe for antipasto salad, and a recipe for chocolate tiramisu. And it comes every month with a tool. So of course this month's was a ravioli mold because you're going to make ravioli. So every month it comes with a little tool, and these instructions are written everywhere from, somebody who's got like a 5-year-old that you're helping all the way up to my 12-year-old who likes to do her own thing. And it comes with a shopping list and the skills you need. And then it also comes with 4 little cards that are like table talk. So again, if you're stuck in that rut of what are we going to talk about today, because we've all seen each other for 16 hours already, what are we going to say? So like, for example, this month's table talk includes, if you owned a restaurant, what would you name it? So just conversational things to get you out of the rut of what seems like a never-ending blurs day. Which day of the week is it? Which month are we in? So anyway, that's one thing that we've done. Like I said, I never thought I would sign up for a monthly thing, but this Radish Kids has been just something we look forward to every month, and we dive in, and we've made some of these recipes, and they are good and they're doable. I am not a cook. My husband does all the cooking, and I can do these, so they're good. So I just thought I'd throw that out there in case anybody was looking for a different way to find a recipe that you involve your kids, and it's something that they can do and learn and love too. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
No, that's huge. Good call out, Sandy.
Does it come with the ingredients?
No, it does come with the shopping list. So, but a lot of the ingredients are like flour and oil and salt, and most people have that kind of stuff around the house. So like this month I had to buy whole milk ricotta cheese. I think that was we had Parmesan also at the house. So that was like the only thing we had to buy to kind of get the main dish done. We haven't done the tiramisu yet. But no, it doesn't. It's not like was that Blue Earth or Apron or Blue Apron, whatever it is that comes with the stuff. It's just a box with the recipes and the tools in it.
Which probably also makes it, from a cost perspective, a lot more scalable, because I mean, we got a HelloFresh. My mom got us a HelloFresh subscription for Christmas, and when you look at the price tag of it, it's, yeah, because they're also sending you the meat and the veggies and all the everything. Like, or I have a grocery store that, or like Walmart, that's been our biggest friend, is Walmart order ahead and then just go pick it up through the drive-through. But yeah, I mean, it makes it a lot more scalable if you already have all the ingredients there.
Cool, thanks.
I will say is that, I mean, obviously engaging the kids beyond the daily how was school, well, I wore a mask all day. Yeah, I know. Beyond that, but like one of the big things that my wife and I have tried to take advantage of is we can't go have date nights because we're not going to sit in a restaurant or whatever. Is trying to get creative with still having our quality time. So like, I love breakfast is my go-to meal. Like if I had one last dying meal, it's going to be pick all the omelets and pancakes and French toast and all the everything, and I will die a happy man. So I make pancakes every couple of weeks for the family. I'll make the kids pancakes first, and then I'll make special blueberry pancakes for just me and my wife, so that the kids can go play and we can have a breakfast date at the kitchen table and actually talk about grown-up things, or talk about nothing, but not talk about the kids because they're not right there, or yell over the kids because the kids are right there. And like tonight, our anniversary is next Tuesday, but my middle son's school is doing the Chick-fil-A fundraiser on our anniversary because everybody wants a chicken sandwich for their anniversary. So tonight we're gonna do takeout, appetizers and cheesecake from the Cheesecake Factory, and make a dinner of that after the kids have gone to bed. Because no, we can't go there and have a date night, but we can still have that quality time with each other. And that's been one of the biggest things, is whatever the family dynamic is, whether it's spouses or parent to kid or whatever, that quality time has changed. It has gotten better in some places, but it's also, yeah, if nobody leaves the house, you become very aware that you've been in the same house day in and day out for almost a year now. And so it's been great to find those opportunities to do something different, like go get takeout, have the kids go to sleep, so that again, we can just have a grown-up conversation and enjoy a meal together, even if it's at our kitchen table and not at a restaurant. So I mean, again, if anybody else has anything they want to jump in with, go for it. But how has, I'm curious. I took it for granted that I've been working from home for 3 or 4 years now, and a lot of you, some of you may be back in the office, some of you may have never left the office, some of you may be entirely work from home or a hybrid in whatever. How has this impacted your workload, your communication skills, the expectations people have on you, your expectations for your coworkers? How has this dynamic changed all of that in your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month work? How has it changed your Salesforce development or adoption or anything like that? I'm curious to hear that. Bueller? Anybody?
I'm in a similar situation to you, Dale, having been work from home for the last probably 6 years now. So that part of the transition was easy for me. The company, I mean, I changed jobs mid-COVID, which could be an interesting experience to begin with. Normally, you think of starting a new job, if you're going to be remote, you go out to corporate, spend a week doing the onboarding stuff. But that wasn't the case this time for me, changing jobs in the middle of this. When COVID hit, the company quickly pivoted and did all of the onboarding in a remote fashion. I mean, they shut down all of their offices, sent everybody home. They said, okay, it's work from home for the foreseeable future. Everything's done remote. Everybody gets a Zoom license. We use Slack a lot for conversations, and it's worked out pretty well, in my opinion. I mean, it's the onboarding process was a combination of pre-recorded messages and live sessions. So we were kind of guided through the pre-recorded things with live sessions in the middle of it. So from a new employee perspective, that really was pretty seamless and pretty painless, I think. And I credit a lot of that to the marketing team here at this company and the CMO in particular. The first job that I had that was a fully remote role, I was working for the same individual. And at that point in time, I was one of the few non-salespeople who was a remote employee. And she spent a lot of time with me directly one-on-one, making sure my colleagues, my coworkers, and everybody at the company realized I was part of the organization and that I was getting the support that I needed from other team members because I didn't have the opportunity to walk around the corner and stand at their desk and wait for an answer. So I think I'm lucky in that regard, I guess, because I have a good management team that values all of that and realizes the importance of keeping everybody well connected. I'm sure that's not the case for everybody. And for those of you that may be brand new to working from home, you probably had to experience the decisions of where's my office going to be? Do I work from the dining room table? Do I have a basement that I can clear space in? Do I go out to the garage or whatever? Here at ActiveCampaign, to help combat some of that, the company immediately implemented a one-time $300 stipend to help people get their work from home offices set up from the beginning, and then if they have reiterated that and done it each quarter with a $250 stipend to help us with any technology or purchases that we need to help make our home offices more comfortable and more productive. So.
Nice. Thought I'd seen someone else unmute before.
Oh yeah, that would be me. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I think that our productivity has skyrocketed, in my opinion, because when you're all in the office, there's a lot of chit chat, and there's a lot of people walking by, doing more chit chat. And when you're at home by yourself, you can only talk to yourself for so long. So you just start doing work. And even if there are I thought that it would be harder because you're like, ooh, I can go toss in a load of laundry, or toss on a crock pot meal while I'm at it. and still at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, well I've done my house chores and it only takes a few minutes, so I guess I might as well work. And then I get a whole bunch of work done, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, and that's interesting with the, I feel like I've been more productive working from home than working from an office, but it's interesting, like the laundry example. So my laundry room, if the microphone were any stronger, you might actually hear the dryer going right now. The laundry room is right on the other side of that wall. Part of increasing productivity and getting those breaks is if I know we have a ton of laundry to go through, I will actually time my work around the laundry cycles. So you're getting stuff done at work, you're getting stuff done at home, you're giving yourself a break to detach a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So Eric and Corinne both brought up the interesting pieces of the in-person versus work from home. How has, you could walk up to someone's desk and ask the question, get the answer, and it may then lead into some chit chat of, see the game, did you watch that show, whatever. How have communication skills changed in a now probably very heavy reliance on things like Slack and Teams and Hangouts. I'm going to guess probably not a whole lot of phone calls, but even going from talking in person to having nothing but Zoom meetings when you do get to talk to somebody, has anybody noticed a change in how they approach communications with all of this?
I think for me, what we have done here, people tend to utilize Slack for the quick and dirty one-off questions where it's, hey, I need a quick answer for something. And then they reserve email for the longer, more drawn out, thought out process and things that are going to be a much more involved conversation. So Slack has kind of replaced the go to stand by somebody's desk and have a quick conversation. I think when COVID finally settles down and things go back to something close to normal, I know our offices are planning on reopening, but I believe the company is planning on giving everybody the option. Do you want to come back in the office, or do you want to work from home, or do you want to do some mixture of the two? So it'll be a little bit different going back to the office for those that work in offices. I'm sure in a lot of cases, but that's kind of what we've done here.
Dale, I'll throw this in that we spend a lot of time, a lot of the things we have to do are complex solutioning, and there's a lot of collaboration that goes on. So our office is still open and we still do a whole lot of whiteboarding. And so, while it's, everybody's trying to do a lot of the, Zoom calls and things like that, we're finding that there's really still no substitute for sitting down at a whiteboard and drawing stuff, because and kind of the nature of what we do lends itself to having to be in that sort of a mode, because the things that we're doing are much more complex and have to have a lot of things where you're working out a lot on a whiteboard. So from our perspective and also just from our office perspective, we have folks that are some are remote, some are in the office, and we've kind of kept it as sort of an open and free environment, however you want to do it and however you feel comfortable.
Gotcha. Nice.
So this is a little side story, but not too far. So before COVID, we were all in the office. I just had to get a new keyboard because I'm a really loud typer, and my old keyboard was extremely horrible. Like the entire floor could hear it. And so I made a request to IT and said, can you please help me out and get a quieter keyboard? And so this was like February of last year. And so I have this really nice quiet keyboard. But by the end of 2020, 7 of my keys don't have letters on them anymore, because that is how much more I use my keyboard because of all of the Slack and all of the chatting that I have to do now. They're just, and then the S and the F and the D and the C, surprisingly or not surprisingly, are rubbed off. But yeah, so that, I think that kind of shows how much more typing that I've had to do this year than ever in the past.
So if anybody, if I'm putting this question on the spot, and it's okay if nobody wants to jump in and answer, but Eric mentioned changing jobs mid-COVID. For those who are seeking jobs, either as a job change or they need to look for a job, how has this changed your approach to job seeking? Also with what can we do to help? And again, I totally understand if you don't want to answer, you totally don't have to, but I'm putting that out in the ethos if anybody does have any comments.
So I'm going to be giving a presentation about this eventually when I could be able to have the complete story. But oh my goodness, I've transitioned into Salesforce this year. And the fact that there's virtual meetings and the Salesforce ecosystem is so cohesive, I've been able to just like jump right in and be able to connect with so many different groups. What's funny is that I'm here in Phoenix, and in Phoenix there's one prospective group that I could be working with, but otherwise there's like a dozen others that are just across the country that I'm talking to right now. It's just a matter that I have to like, they're keeping their pipeline open as much as I'm keeping my pipeline open. But that's what the networking is for, because I'm not waiting until there's a job posted and then going to apply. I'm just going, connecting, and then through, you know, doing the Bacon method of getting those degrees to get connections. And it's been wonderful for learning and for making connections, but also an understanding, like a whole mindset of shooting for the moon and living amongst the stars, right? So if you land on the moon, great. But otherwise, like, what are those goals, those victories? Like we were talking earlier about just being able to have appreciation in this time of COVID. What are those appreciations you could be able to have? And so, yeah, so because of you know, it's just so much easier to work, connect virtually, all these virtual meetings. That's how I'm coming here to Kansas City from Phoenix. So just being able to know how to take advantage of those opportunities are out there, because it's like never before being able to connect and yeah, virtually. So that's my thoughts about that.
Would you say that companies who are hiring, have they shifted their expectations and their paradigm of the hiring process to meet candidates virtually, or is there still some stubbornness of, well, we're sitting in the office, so you should come to our office too? Like,
yeah, I'm sure they're out there, but there's a lot of businesses who are not. So, you know, it's just about marketing, you know, find your market. So there's plenty more, so more than ever before, because of that push, that have realized, oh, we don't have to be in the office. And so it's just been like a trial by fire, being able to see just that fear has come to the realization that people have been able to be more productive, and they've developed a management strategy to be able to be risk averse about not having people be in the office in order to manage them. They have that infrastructure in place for that risk management.
Gotcha.
I'll jump on that. I went through the motions, and I think my experience was very much what Jason is saying. It was early on in COVID, very early on, and but the whole concept of doing interviews online and discussing employment online, it was smooth. There was, you know, the adjustments had been made, and the new reality had set in. And it was, and again, to reinforce what Jason is saying, it was all successful, and it was all, you know, what I took away was the enjoyment of having that success. Whether I got the job or not was neither here nor there. But that, you know, that's what my takeaway is that, you know, practice.
Exactly. And that's why also being able to connect with others. So my LinkedIn is still in that chat. If anyone wants to connect with me for anything, Nasser's already like had 2 chats with me. He wants to practice English. So if anyone wants to be a informal English speaking tutor buddy, connect with Nasru. And so having those, because I enjoy it, because it's for me to be able to talk to a developer. He's studying for developer too. So being able to have that conversation, it's great for me. And so being able to have informational interviews, it helps practice for real interviews. So in real interviews, they say you should practice. Who are you going to practice with? You're going to practice with family they don't know about the job and they don't see you professionally. they're going to give you, and they're not career coaches, so they're going to give you bad advice in a bad way. And so being able to have informational interviews, it's great because it gets you, it's an actual practice interview, and it gives you that experience and confidence.
Yeah. Who else? Anybody? Anything? And no problem at all. Again, I apologize for the not doing my research on breakout rooms before putting this whole plan together. But I'm more than happy to stay on, keep the line open. If any of us also are at the same time, more than happy to also give time back if there isn't anything else that anybody wants to bring up. I think going back to the original question of, you know, what have we all been doing to deal with this and change and adapt and survive. For me, and for a lot of people, it's being okay with not being okay. I mean, as I mentioned, I see a therapist. I highly advocate mental health for everybody, whatever that looks like. And sometimes your expectations need to be lowered to the point of it's not going to be okay, so that you can help yourself react and respond and take action accordingly. So these are weird times, and I consider myself a person before a Salesforce person or anything like that. I'm more than happy to listen, and I really can shut up. I promise. If any of you have anything that you just need someone to talk about and someone to just listen, I can shut up with the best of them. I promise. Happy to do that. I hope for the best for everybody, and we're all in this together. And if we can keep that front of mind, that we're all in this together, that's how we're going to succeed, whether it's personally and professionally and every area in between. So I appreciate everybody's perspective and thoughts, and just willing to show up to yet another Zoom meeting. I hope that we're offering some kind of value in this, but yeah.
Well, here I have a question I want to put out there, where we talked about the being able to coordinate with a team virtually, but also, you know, the SABWA, Salesforce administration, by walking around. So this is where it's not a formal meeting; it's just the chit chatty that Corinne was talking about, but the conductive chit chat. You know, where you're able to observe. So I'm curious about that, like how you're able to be that observant without saying, like, you know, without saying, hey, get an external webcam and I want to be a literal fly on your wall. Like, how could you be able to be able to know what's going on with your stakeholders?
I think for me in the consulting space as a BA, which is largely like an admin, it's being very deliberate with the expectations of, when I tell my client, okay, we need to meet on X, Y, and Z, is laying out those expectations with an agenda and saying, we need to talk about this may lead to that, whatever, but putting that out there. And then, like a lot of, in the consulting client space, it's still relatively low adoption to have video cameras on. So that accountability of, are you also multitasking, isn't totally there. So it's again, what can you control? I can control my ability to single task, and because I owe that to my client, because we are in a predefined or even, on the fly meeting time, but we have set out to talk about A, B, and C. We got to make the most of the time that we have. And so just being very deliberate about spending that time that way. But also, if you are on video, like I'm wearing my finest Seven Summits hoodie right now, that, you know what, we're all working from home, and I'm in my workout shorts. I didn't even put on
a hat too.
It's 29 degrees and I'm wearing shorts, but that we're all at home right now. Like we are who we are, and that's okay. you don't have to be full buttoned up in suit and tie and all of that. Like we're here just trying to do what we can. The goal is to get the work done.
Well, I mean, it's all business attire. Is that Summit's hats as well?
Oh yeah, and a hat.
Like triple seven. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually put on a business shirt if we're having a meeting, if it's work. Today you get me in my grubby stuff. One of the things I think we miss out on is the culture in the office that you can build with people. If I'm the new hire and I don't know anybody, they don't know me, it's harder to build that culture with the Zoom meetings and with the work from home. Also, I think some of the productivity is lost in like the drive-bys that happen for an admin. Maybe they're beginning to recognize just how many people you help in a day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now it's all going to be documented somewhere, just how many people actually had to, hit you up for a question on something. So when it's this, I think the amount of productivity a business gets out of their admin might be limited a little bit more, in my opinion, than what happens when you're isolated like this. So I think the amount of problems you solve in a day is lower, but the amount of big projects that get done is quicker. I don't know if that makes sense.
It's kind of a more, I get what you're saying. It's more of a herky jerky ebb and flow than like a natural like this, because yeah, you can get a lot of those little notes and little questions answered by walking up to someone's desk. And, if all you do is get that one question answered, or it dovetails into other questions, whatever, yeah, you can do that, just as this time goes, because you're both right there. Versus in a virtual space, you do have to be more deliberate about getting those questions answered. And it might be you can't get it answered until tomorrow or the day after, because that's when you both have time open on your calendar. But going back to being deliberate about how you use that time, yeah, to your point, you may actually get bigger chunks of the project requirements accomplished, so that then you can go back to your home office, to your desk, and just start cranking the work out. You get more done because you maximized that time you did get with that person to answer some questions.
I thought when I would be working from home, I would get more time for myself. Does that make sense? I just replaced my drive time and my, prep time. And what really happens is I do more dishes for my wife, and more of the time goes into the family. That is, oh, you're here, you can do this. So it's like the list of honeydews goes up. So I don't know that I get more of my time back, but I do get. Go ahead.
I put that problem on myself, actually, because I'll wander downstairs and my wife will say, "You're supposed to be working. What are you doing here?" "I'm getting a snack." "Stop getting snacks."
That's good.
Delicious. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And that's part of when you start working from home, you don't know what expectations to raise or lower. In a way, you kind of have to have an open mind of what is this going to look like? And you have to force yourself to get into a good groove, but have an open mind, an open enough mind to know that it may be in flux. It may change day to day. It may, any number of things, versus if you have the commute. Like I knew when I worked for KCS downtown and living in Olathe, I had a good half hour, 35 minutes. If I leave at 7:15, 7:20, I'm going to be there right around 8, depending on traffic. I know I'm going to get through a podcast. I know at what point, maybe it takes 6:35 to 70 instead of 35 straight into downtown, because you know what the traffic patterns are. You could set your watch to those. You can't so much when you're at home. But if you set your expectations that you can't set your expectations, you're still setting an expectation and actually setting yourself up for success. The ability to be flexible and maneuverable is very key.
I like the ability to ignore people when it's not a drive-by, just being blunt here. But I think one of the things that made me so unproductive in the office is somebody comes up and says, yeah, I have a quick question. Number one, it's never quick. Yes. Number one, it's never quick. And number two, I'm like deep in the middle of a process builder or some other thing. And then I have to flip 180 to, deal with a different department, a completely different process. And then they're standing over your shoulder. So you're like, oh, let me go, open up the hood here and watch, have you watch me do my work to find the answer for you because you're right there and you won't leave until I get you an answer. So I do like the ability to, when they ping me with a question, it's, oh, I know that's going to take me 5 minutes. I'll answer it real quick versus, man, they just asked a 2-hour question and didn't even realize it, and then maybe 30 minutes later, I come back with, this is what I found so far. Here's the situation, and create a ticket for the rest of the research, whatever makes it more efficient in that case.
Right.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I gotta get going. It was a great chat, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Thank you, Corinne.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Corinne.
Bye.
So yeah, I think with that, we're going to go ahead and cut this. We're down to less than 10. So, I mean, again, I appreciate all of you just jumping on to another one. I appreciate the open candor. I also, I also totally get if there was any hesitation to speak up, I totally get that. Be you and be yourself. And one of the benefits of this environment in these meetings is also that your biggest net win might be just having listened to somebody and gained someone else's perspective. That 100% okay, no expectations on anything. So again, I do actually do pretty okay at shutting up if you need someone to talk to. We're all here for each other. I'll post the recording as soon as I'm able to later this afternoon or this evening, and the deck with links. While we were having this, the feature matrix came out, so I've put that in the deck. The link to that still waiting on the release overview deck. I'm gonna save the chat thread because I know Jason and I think Eric and a few others have posted some links in there that we'll just share. The habits of a happy brain, radish kids, things like that. So we'll have those out in the channels, and as soon as I can get them out, we will. Next meeting is February 11th with Corinne. Again, I am totally geeked on it just because the power of a checkbox formula field, and you can do a bajillion things with that. So I'm excited to see what she has. Be well. It's okay if your goal for the day is to just survive. We're all doing that at the same time. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day. Great rest of the week. Stay warm, and we will talk next time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Dale. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, and think of that as a possible podcast name. Everybody Loves Bacon. Thank you. Yeah, I typed for that in the text. I want to see the live reaction for that.
We'll work
Very cool. We'll see how it goes.
Everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Dale.
Yep. Thank you.